bizarre.
Greetings, Geek Warriors. Welcome back to another Geek Wars podcast.
So nervous.
It's Trevor Allen here with a person on my left.
Ken Chapman.
And a person on my right.
Big Ben Waddell.
And we're here to bring you geeky news and stuff. Are you ready? Oh yeah.
I'm so ready.
All
Are
right.
you ready, brother?
We're now, we're done with that, whatever happened.
No.
I don't know. So we're just start
We're
different
not going to do
ways.
the whole show in pro wrestler voices?
No.
I've been
talk
practicing
about
this for nothing.
D&D news, brother.
Oh gosh. Alright, is that where
You
you...
just choked yourself
A
on
little bit. Macho Man Randy
Macho
Savage
Man
makes me
Randy
choke.
fucking Savage.
Now you
It
mentioned
does.
something, is that what you want to start with?
I'll start with some D&D news.
You want to start with the D&D news?
Some D&D movie news.
You saw this, you read it.
Oh, you guys don't do D&D.
So this is like high-level geek shit right here, D&D stuff.
Actually, no, because the D&D movies have always historically been really low rent and shitty.
Yeah.
There's been no good
Heard.
D&D movies.
That feels like exactly how I picture a D&D movie. Like, I picture a D&D movie the same way I picture people playing D&D, which also feels low rent and shitty. So,
It can be.
like,
but
I picture a bunch of, like guys hanging around a table and, like, nerding out. And
every group I've ever been in has been equally male and female.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well for me, I don't, but I watch, I listen to sort of, Geek and Sundry does Critical Role, they do their thing, I listen to that, it's
Two guys, two
pretty
girls.
Well, my views of D&D are archaic and wrong.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm like the bad guy in a Jack Black movie.
I've talked about wanting to play it and us recording it or something, but I don't really know, I've never played it before.
Here's what it is. You take a character, you play with the rules of that, and then you improvise that character in the situations you're given.
Cool.
That's
really
really
fun.
what it is. It's sitting around a table and improvising a character.
Which is what we do.
And this is the problem with making a D&D movie. There's a lot of good stories told in the D&D universe. Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman with the Dragonlance Chronicles. I don't know if you've never read those. The Dritz to Erden, none of that? Okay.
No, sorry.
R.A. Salvatore.
When it comes to fantasy books, the only thing I've ever really read is the Wheel of Time stuff.
Well, alright.
So, and same thing with video games. The only thing I've done is Dragon Age. So I'm very
sure
picky about my fantasy.
You haven't read any of the Lord of the
Shit.
You
Rings
probably watched something.
I
by-
read The Hobbit when I was a kid.
Ooh,
Okay.
wow. Yeah. So this is high nerd for you. But so they're talking about a new D&D movie. They want it to be a mix of Guardians of the Galaxy and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I guess they sort of want to take it into a more irreverent sort of area.
Didn't we do that with that James Franco movie a while back?
This is my problem because they did it with Knights of Badassdom. They did it with
Knights of
Your
Badass was
Highness.
the other one. Yeah.
They did it with a lot of others, and it's
all
just,
of them have flopped
yeah,
tremendously.
Yeah.
I watched them and had some chuckles, especially Knights of Badassdom. That was
Knights of
LARPing.
Badassdom had some interesting shit.
But yeah, it was LARPing, and it was because there used to be a D&D cartoon. You never saw that as a kid either.
No.
Okay, so they were all transported into the world of D&D, and they were from our world. So that was sort of that was the conceit.
Well,
of
that's
that
the
show.
ultimate dream of the people playing it, is that they would somehow actually get to, like... That sounds like a cartoon that then leads to LARPing.
Right, so that's what
So-
ends up happening in a lot of these types of movies. So then it does become in itself sort of a parody of the D&D world. Like I said, there's a lot of good stories told in the D&D universe. The problem is they don't have the rights to any of those because they belong to, the people who wrote them. So the problem with the campaigns for D&D is that it's not really a story. It's like a setting. Mm-hmm. Here's where you're at. Here's your goal. How are you going to achieve that goal? Here's what you're going to run into. So then you three, or you two, or the three of us would be those main characters. And there's nothing in the actual D&D material that would constitute a story.
Yeah, there's just dungeon masters who create a story, and
Right.
you're just kind of they can make up pretty much anything, in long as it within certain conceits that
I gotta say, I
Dungeons and
can
Dragons
see them.
uses.
I could see doing something like this that would be funny. And the way that I would try to do it if I was doing this, is that I would put the people playing the game into the world with the characters, so that now the character and the person playing the character are now side by side.
Okay, that's
and then,
different.
And so then now you're watching the nerdy person, and then you're watching the giant. So you'd have like some nerdy kid, like Christopher Mintz-Plasse, next to Chris Hemsworth, and you'd be like, "I want to go over there," and Christopher Mintz-Plasse would be like, "No, we're going over there."
I feel like that's what we had with Knights of Badassdom.
Isn't the idea
similar?
Isn't
but then you'd give the nerds all the power. Is my point. Now, so then there'd be this like shit, and it's like he's like roll quickly, and he would have to like roll for damage or whatever, and he'd be like, oh, I rolled a 3, oh shit, and then like Chris Hemsworth would get punched in the face by a dragon or some shit, and you could do a lot of fun stuff.
Dragons do love punching.
Sure,
yeah, they do it all the time.
Isn't though the idea of making this movie? It's just going to be just in the world. There's no like nerds playing. It's just the characters in this world. So it's just going to be like a Lord of the Rings, but instead it's Dungeons and Dragons.
I guess,
and
like,
they're looting.
And
they're looting. The idea is
and make sure you've got 70s music in there to make sure that's all super cool.
They meet up in funny ways and then decide to loot, and they're like, I'm going to loot somewhere. Me too. Let's loot together, and all that, right?
Yeah, I
would assume teabagging will come up at some point. Yeah. Like almost like it'll end up being like World of Warcraft
like
type
you're
stuff.
thinking of something completely different.
No, Call of Duty is where teabagging happens.
Really? No, the rest of the games out there don't have teabagging?
No, there's no real reason to teabag in
in Dungeons.
There's never really a good reason to teabag. But
yeah, sure. You're just taking a dude out and you want to show your dominance.
Okay, Ken, how many times when you played Dungeons and Dragons has one of the players decided to teabag?
Never.
Yeah.
Maybe we just rolling through different crowds.
I used to play a rapist minotaur, but that wasn't teabagging.
I'm sorry, time out. You played a rapist minotaur.
Yes, he was a chaotic, evil rapist minotaur.
So, like, at certain points, but that's like your call, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, at certain points, you're like, my minotaur rapes you.
My minotaur would try to rape you.
if you could roll a 7, 11, or doubles.
It's just, okay, it's not fucking, it's not Yahtzee or
craps, I guess. I don't know.
Well, doubles would be Monopoly.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, it's not Monopoly.
I know you roll dice to make stuff happen.
Essentially.
I know. My experience is basically diluted to or attributed to the 2 episodes of Community where they played D&D.
Yeah, that's not great.
I played a Marvel RPG.
Okay, yeah, that's similar.
So
that's
I played a little bit of that.
Same type of thing.
Yeah, so that's more of I've wanted to play Dungeons, but they were like, nah, that's nerdy. It's like, really? This is more obscure.
See,
what are you talking about?
I was wanting to play the Star Wars one, but
I know
my group never played.
That's actually
that could be interesting.
That was my first. I didn't play, but that was my first learning about RPGs because my friend played a Star Wars one. He was telling me about it. And like I didn't understand what he was talking about. I thought it was a computer game. And it was like he's like I was an Ewok and running around. I was like, what are you talking? It was a computer game. He's like, no. I can do what I want. And it's like on a computer. And I was like, I was so much like
I don't have the language to
it sounds like a really good computer game.
I'm just like, wait, you can just go anywhere?
It's an open world Star Wars game where you can be an Ewok?
In a computer game you can do this? And I'm just like, and he's like, no, on a board game. I'm like, what?
Not really a board either, but yeah.
That always, whenever I hear people describe it as a board game, I'm like, so there's like a board, and it folds up and goes in a box.
Well, no, okay, so at a point when you finally get to a battle, you're going to want to pull out your grid to show where everything is. Like, the dragon's here, you're here.
There's a rock here.
I'm standing behind you. I can't swing at the dragon without hitting you, so I got to move. You know, a lot of your abilities go for certain tiles, 5 tiles or 5 meters or whatever. And you got to figure out,
I've got a rock. I can throw it 4 tiles.
I've never fully memorized all the everything about it though. So whenever I play, I always just play my character, and then when it's time for me to do technical stuff, I'll just ask Josh. Okay, so what can I do here? Okay, I can do this, right? Okay, how far away do I have to be? Okay, I'm gonna do that. And so I always do that. I like to play my character though because it's just improv,
It's
improv with some rules.
More rules.
Yeah, I've been kind of...
Improv has rules.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks like fun.
Do you have to yes-and?
Yeah, you kind of do. If you don't, you end up being a dick to your party. And
can you do that though? Like I spot a merchant and I go to kill him. I say there is no merchant. I roll 3. There's no merchant.
No, because the DM would say that there's a merchant there.
Oh, okay.
And then
you don't just make stuff up.
The yes end would be like, you two really need, like, your swords are broken or something. You really need to buy new swords. And I'm like, I'm going to kill the guy so that we can't buy, or whatever. Or I'm going to scare him away or something. Do something. We played with a guy like that.
You can do that, yeah, but...
He was a dick all the time. Just constantly, everything we did, it was no.
And you also don't want a dick DM. It'll just screw you over and make it impossible to play.
The DMs are...
That's what I've played with in the Marvel RPG. My brother, he was a dick. And it just pissed me off.
Just does everything.
Because he was the DM, and it just pissed me off.
Does everything to kill you guys or get you...
Now, DM, as I understand nerd speak, is Dungeon Master.
Yes.
Right. It could also be called GM at that point.
Game Master.
Game Master, okay.
Yeah.
And that's that one was called
Game
Master.
Master.
Okay.
But basically, I wasn't allowed to do anything.
Sure.
And that annoyed me.
See, that was... We played with the DM that was like that. And he really loved this other guy in the group because the other guy would sort of do the chaotic shit. And our DM loved that.
Mm-hmm.
But then for the rest of us, he would just say, oh, no, that you don't get to do that. You don't have the ability to do that, this and that. Normally, if you've got a good DM, if you want to do something, you tell them what you want to do. They roll. You roll your abilities. They roll against it, and they're pretty fair. But
yeah.
But anyway, there are a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of good stories to be had. It's a good world. They've done a good job of building a world. There's just been no real successful cinematic. The books, like I said, the Dragonlance books. Those are all based on Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's group sitting around doing the things, and then he would go home and write the shit down, and then later they wrote books out of it. And they're good books, by the way. You should read them.
I'm so bad at reading books right now. I'm terrible.
I'm having trouble. I'm behind on my comics. I'm trying to keep up with all the stuff I'm doing for Geek Wars and work and trying to build stuff, but another thing I want to say is I found this one reading because it's very similar to last week. We had James Gunn saying everyone trying to do similar things.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
Because it mentions Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's the popular thing.
Guardians of the Galaxy, and now watch. In next year, you'll be like, I don't know, we kind of want to do something that's a little bit like Deadpool. It'll happen. Within the next year, some studio exec will come out
I'm
there.
I'm surprised they didn't already say that.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's a team movie.
That's like...
We want to do a team movie. So if you want to do a team movie, what's the hot team movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, you got to bring up Guardians of the Galaxy.
They never said it was a team movie.
No.
It's going to be a team movie.
Okay.
If they're comparing it to Lord of the Rings and Guardians of the Galaxy, Lord of the Rings is totally a team movie.
No.
What are you talking about?
A team movie?
Team?
We thought you were saying teen, like teenager.
No, Team.
Okay,
God
we get
dang.
that now.
A fellowship, if you will.
There you go. You should have started with that.
My bad.
We're like, what are you talking about?
Here's the problem, though. There is no I in team. There is one in fellowship, so I don't like saying fellowship.
Jesus.
But yeah.
All right, so
Guardians is a team movie.
We were baffled.
That's okay.
Baffled.
I gotta go take elocution lessons.
It's
That's
not
all
a
it is.
CW movie, for fuck's sake.
It's not Fourth Wave or Hunger Games.
Divergence.
God, that movie sucked. That Fifth Wave movie.
Fourth Wave, right?
Fifth Wave.
Fifth Wave.
It was Fifth Wave. You're right.
God, that was terrible.
You watched and reviewed that movie.
Why does it have to have different waves like that? You can start at 1 if you're gonna fucking do numbers.
Serious,
like
Fifth
that.
Wave seems like, I don't want to see it. I haven't seen 1 through 4 yet. So,
if you're gonna you can't do that because it also makes you have to go through all the other waves at the beginning of the movie.
You absolutely have to explain the other waves, and that's why the first
just like I am number 4.
20 minutes of that was all exposition. Well, see, no, I am number 4. You just say, there's like 13 of us, and I'm the 4th one.
No, at the beginning of that movie, it exposed exactly what happened to the others. That they were taken out.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, that movie did that thing that you're just saying that this movie did.
I feel like that movie did
Nope,
a better job of it.
Nope, it was a bad
No,
movie.
I agree they did it.
If you like
Yeah.
it, you should feel bad.
I liked the idea of that movie, though. This movie was just stupid.
I kind of liked the Fifth Wave a little bit.
No,
really?
I haven't seen it.
It was okay. Like
I like Chloe Grace Moretz. I think she's awesome.
Well, it wasn't.
Liev Schreiber's awesome.
It wasn't great at all. It was just at the time.
Yeah.
This is January. There was nothing else. Like it was the top of the list of shit. Like that's what that was. It was like,
But
that wasn't very good. But then I'm looking at the list of everything else I saw that year, and I'm like, meh.
Not like there were no other movies. This was right after Star Wars.
Yeah, I felt like there was better stuff out that weekend.
I know there's better stuff.
You're saying there was nothing better this year, which fine, but
yeah, that's
it's
what I'm
not
comparing
like your memory was erased from last.
No, that's all I'm comparing to because I watched so many movies though in a row that weren't very good that I got to that one and was like.
Do you ever think that maybe your little plan here is ruining your ability to enjoy actual movies?
They're starting to get better though. They're finally they're all topping the list now. Every movie now that's coming out is pretty much topping the list until Gods of Egypt.
The Deadpool week, I enjoyed all 3 of those movies. That was.
Oh no, I disagree.
You didn't like Zoolander, but you didn't like Zoolander 1, so you weren't probably gonna like.
Yeah,
Zoolander
but
2.
Zoolander. I don't remember Zoolander 1, and I was
talking about Zoolander.
Zoolander. Yeah, I was ready to be okay with it. It was worse than I thought it was. Like, if you go into something with low expectations, you shouldn't come out of it going, "Oh, it was worse than my low expectations." It was lower than my. I went to Green Lantern thinking I was gonna hate it. I actually kind of enjoyed that. This is very different.
So I went into Green Lantern with like really high hopes, and
it looked terrible from the trailers and stuff.
I love Green Lantern. I want Green Lantern.
I was kind of hopeful. I think that was one of the movies that really burned me, though.
Oh, so yeah, Fifth Wave came out the same weekend as The Boy and Dirty Grandpa. I hated The Boy. I still liked it better than Fifth Wave. And Dirty Grandpa is a funny movie.
It was garbage.
It's a funny movie.
It wasn't garbage.
All
right, so
it's a funny garbage
movie show. Okay. And what's your story for this week?
All right.
Oh, me? Okay, the one that I wanted to go with, they just released today, or I think it was yesterday. When Batman vs. Superman comes out on DVD, there will be an R-rated version.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that sounds kind of awesome. Although my brother-in-law brought this up too. And here was my wonder was like, that's not going to mean Batman and Superman are dropping F-bombs and there's a scene at a strip club.
There's a more violent scene than is in a PG-13
Yeah, so basically I'm guessing there's going to be like more blood when they punch each other.
Well, here's what I think is, it's because Batman's brutal in this. Because we've already seen there's the one guy who is who's branded.
Yeah.
We probably just see that. We might just see that
happen. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine
there'd
be too much.
Really
hardcore stuff.
I feel like the extended, it's mostly the other stuff that's really going to be the more interesting stuff. I feel like that part is just, it's going to be Batman. He's going to be more brutal. It's not incredibly important. But people are flipping out about this online.
About the R-rated thing?
People are upset. Some people are happy. People are saying it's Deadpool that did this, even though the movie was filmed like way before
a year
Deadpool.
And a half
Sure, right. But they didn't announce the R.
This isn't announced
until
this was in an MPAA thing. Like they did a bunch of they have a bunch of things. The MPAA released like a huge sheet of other things they've rated, and it was in that. And some like every article I read, they referenced some guy on Twitter. I didn't think this was real at first because I
didn't think it was either.
I read that thing and I thought, oh, it's just some journalist saying they saw this thing and it's radar, and I was like, screw it. And then I went to another site and it was like from the MPAA, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I read it in more detail and was like, okay, so basically one person went through the entire just this list of all these ratings and found this Batman versus Superman one which mentioned. So they didn't announce it. There was no real announcement or anything. It was just hidden in all this stuff.
It's hidden in a press release from the
MPAA, so it just seems more like...
The article I read said we don't know when it was submitted.
We don't. I don't think...
So, I don't know.
We don't know really when it was submitted. I mean, it could be submitted because Blu-ray's probably quite a while away. But at the same time, they've had a long time to work on this.
Yeah. At the very least, these articles are all the movies are rated R now, guys! Yeah. Which is exactly what James Gunn was saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one is obviously, it has nothing to do with that because they've already filmed this.
Sure.
Before that, so it didn't do anything. Also, I'm pretty sure the R rating is barely anything.
Yeah.
It's probably nothing special. I mean, it mentions in there just gratuitous violence.
With the same thing that most director's cuts, special editions, most of them are nothing. A handful of them are kind of interesting. Like the Donner Superman 2 and stuff like that. Some of that stuff can be interesting, but for the most part, director's cuts, weird cuts, are nothing. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously cutting the stuff you don't need. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also people flipping out at how amazing this is, too, on that other end, where I'm like, it's not really amazing.
I don't think it's amazing or
it's
unamazing.
Not anything.
It's nothing. Yeah.
I mean, people are... Because there are a lot of people who want an R-rated Batman movie. Why? Because,
I can see that. I can see why you want one of those.
But at the same time, Batman's never really been rated R. There's never been.
I think Frank Miller
can make him some
sure.
great.
Pushes him.
I believe at some point in Dark Knight Returns, a woman with boobs and swastikas on her naked breasts is running around a convenience store shooting people. So,
I just don't. I don't think it's needed, but at the same time,
Brigitte Nielsen should play her in the movie.
I think also there are people saying, "Oh, we're going to see the Robin scene probably where he's getting murdered, so that's going to be in it." But here's the thing: you don't cut that out of the big movie.
No.
Probably. You're not going to cut like a huge scene like that out. It's going to be small stuff.
Although I could say if the scene exists, there might be a bloodier version of that scene. I can see that happening.
I don't know. But there is talk because it was hinted at a while ago. Charles Roven mentioned that there might be a director's cut because someone was asking, "Oh, is there going to be like a 4 hours director's cut?" And it's like, no, but maybe something close to that or something. So there's been talk of an over 3 hour director's cut coming out,
right?
Which I mean, I feel like Zack Snyder's he's released director's cut of everything except for Man of Steel.
This is his ultimate cut.
Ultimate cut is what they're calling because it's going to be a special. It's only going to be released on like special edition versions and all that stuff. Oh, also people are freaking out because it's like, what about kids? It's like it's on the DVD. You're going to have to go out and buy this thing, and so I don't see what you're on about. One, it's also again, it's going to be a small thing of violence.
Right, it's
not
rated R
Deadpool.
for sequences of violence. That's
so it's not going to be anything particularly you have to worry about with kids, and I know the writer Dan Slott is freaking out that Superman shouldn't be in an R-rated movie.
See, I think it'd be badass to see Superman in an R-rated movie.
But again, it's not the movie in theaters. It's a special edition that's coming out.
Yeah, this isn't like going to we're not taking this to your children and making them watch it. It's on the DVD if you go look for it. Yeah. But it's not. Yeah.
This Superman started his career by snapping a neck, and
Dan Slott is very much against that too.
Well, that's on.
It's real. The whole point of this DC universe that they're doing on the films is that it's real. That's the whole idea.
Don't say gritty.
Like, what if we did it and it was real?
When we say gritty.
I think gritty's probably. I wouldn't say gritty at this point. More than anything, really gritty, they're trying to make it real.
I'd say Suicide Squad looks kind of gritty. I wouldn't say the main stuff is gritty.
I think Suicide Squad looks less gritty. Looks less gritty than the Superman v Batman stuff. Yeah, because it's got that sort of irreverent humor to it.
Yeah,
sure.
So that doesn't say
colorful
gritty
costumes.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know what we mean by gritty.
Gritty's like the grindhouse stuff, like hardcore kind of darker, a literal.
I think it's dark. I feel like Suicide's darker, even though it has jokes in it. It's like dark comedy stuff. So I feel like it's gonna have some dark. It's gonna have
the Dark Knight, the movie, Nolan's Dark Knight movie. That was gritty. That had some gritty stuff.
I think it's gonna. Well, you look at Suicide Squad. It's gonna have abuse. They're gonna have a relationship abuse in that of Joker.
It seems like even that will be taken in a light.
I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna be shown in a light tone. I think it's gonna start out light, and I think we're gonna get emotional. Like we're gonna start to feel like we're gonna slowly build to that. Where it's Joker's like he's Joker, he's the goofy character.
He doesn't look
Joker's
light.
gonna take it light.
Joker's if anything, Leto's Joker doesn't look light at all. He looks very intense and very.
Exactly. So think I don't think that we're gonna get in a torture scene that looks funny. I think it's gonna be pretty dark.
I don't think we're going to get a whole... I think we're going to get torture flashbacks, maybe. I don't know if we're going to get a whole scene of straight torture.
Well, we saw it in the trailer, pretty much.
But that's a flashback.
Oh, yeah, flashback. But you can't call that... You don't call a flashback an actual scene.
No. If it's done... But I think it's going to be done in, flash cuts. I don't think it's going to be done, it's not going to be like... And now we start our torture scene. We're going to slowly torture this person. You're going to hear all the screams. It's going to be really graphic and crazy.
Well, no, it's PG-13.
So it's... No, yeah.
But it's still... That doesn't take away from it... The seriousness of it. I don't think we're gonna.
No, it's. But I don't think it's gonna be handled too intensely. I think it
will be pretty strong. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't make much of this rated R thing. I mean, it was in my notes as something up there because why not? But at the same, I'm more. It means to me we are getting a longer version, which might have more Easter eggs. It might have more world building type of stuff where it's like once you see because that's the movie they came up with is this huge world of. 3 hours of some odd. So, I mean, you put all that together, you're probably getting a huge like epic thing, which I think Zack Snyder likes to do. If you look at like Watchmen, he went out
He likes
and
big
tried
epic
doing a big
things.
epic thing, and there's a director's cut of that even that he wanted to do that's more even close to the comic and all this stuff. And so he's pretty much every movie has a director cut. He had one for Man of Steel, but it didn't come out. He does this.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't think it's.
He also has an R version of like everything he does too, except for that Owl movie and Man of Steel.
The Owl, is it the Guardians of Gahul?
Yeah, it was a decent movie. It was okay.
I forgot he did that movie.
Yeah, it was fine.
I didn't see it.
It was a little
Oh
bit,
God, I haven't seen it. No,
it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's different.
The other one that he did that I couldn't, and I actually just bailed on it, is the one. It's like at an insane asylum.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker
I love
Punch.
that.
Sucker Punch.
I like Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
I love it.
I got
It's
irritated.
one of my favorites.
It was boring to me, and I just turned it off. So.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand which. It was very Inception-like.
It was.
Where there were three different layers.
Inception, I had no problem getting it.
No,
Yeah, because you
neither
get
did I.
exposition.
Yeah.
Because
This
they
doesn't-
told us along the way, this is exactly what we're doing.
Exactly.
We are now going into so-and-so's dream. Now we're doing
Sucker
that.
Punch does none of that.
Sucker
It tells
Punch
you,
doesn't.
It just shows
Right,
you.
you
and
just
it-
have to figure it out on your own.
I
And
like
liked
that.
And there
Yeah.
wasn't enough. There wasn't enough. Like, if you're gonna take me down that rabbit hole, leave little bits of candy or something for me to like go. Oh, and so otherwise I'm like, why am I following? Yeah, screw it. And it's part of it is that I watched it at home. I didn't see it in the theater. I think if I saw it in the theater and I'd like, oh, I paid money. I'm sitting through this damn thing.
I didn't see it
I
in
would
the
have done
theater.
it.
I saw it.
But yeah, I've noticed that when I watch a movie at home, like especially if I download it or something, I'm tired of this, turn it off button is much
Weird.
like lower. Like it's a much like the threshold for that is far lower. So
Sure, I think that's anybody though.
Yeah, I've
it's
never
happened to
walked out of a movie.
it's happened now a bunch. I've walked out of it too.
The less you invest in something, the less
Yeah.
you're gonna.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, one of the movies I walked out of is one that I snuck into. I believe it's Jet Li's first movie that came
The
from
one?
China to America. No, Black Mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me and my buddy snuck into that, and I was like, I've seen Lethal Weapon 4. I'm like, we got to go see this guy. He's amazing. And then you go watch that, and I'm like, this is not Lethal Weapon 4. And I turned right around and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have to say why I like Sucker Punch is it's women superheroes basically. It's a superhero movie, sort of its own way.
Yeah, I think it's problematic to say that powerful women is the reason I like the movie because
No, it's
it
not the
really
reason.
in one of those realities, which I think is probably the base reality. She's getting raped that entire time.
No, and I feel like that's part of it in terms of it's like showing the terribleness of the time and
Right.
trying to break out of it and just.
But that's an old trope that we've got to stop using. Woman gets raped, woman gets revenge. Like woman doesn't become badass
yeah.
until she becomes raped.
She was kind of badass before that. She was trying to be badass. Like they showed her, and I think
Protecting her sister.
Yeah, protecting her sister and all this stuff. And it also, I think it showed like because you look at the insane asylum and how it's functioning as in the time. It's sort of that's what it was. And I like the inception of. They see it as like a whorehouse, basically.
Of course, yeah. I was gonna say one of her escapes is to a whorehouse / strip club.
I don't know if that's an escape. I don't know if that's an escape. Or
That's not real.
It's
That's not
or
real.
it's more just like how it feels. So like it's not so much supposed to be an escape. It's supposed to be this is how it feels to be in this asylum. It's not doesn't feel like an asylum. It feels like a prostitution ring sort of thing. And then you go into the next world of the imagination, the escape.
Yeah, I didn't really mean escape. What I do mean is one of the next level.
Yeah,
that she goes
and
into.
Because I liked Inception when it came out. I can't watch it again because of all the exposition, and that's why I like Sucker Punch.
I haven't seen it a second time.
I could not take it.
I've seen it like 4
and
or 5
I
times.
loved it the first time I saw it, and then after that, I could not
I watched
watch
it with
it
my
again.
mom, so I had to do a lot of explaining.
Oh.
Isn't that so weird? Like they're explaining it right now.
It's
Just
exposition.
listen to that man. Listen right there.
Yeah, my mom does that too. It's like they're telling you if you watch.
Or the
listen.
one where she's like, "Who is this? I don't know. I'm seeing it just with. I'm with you.
You're
this
watching
is the
it
first
together.
day that it's been
I
released."
was like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Watch.
My mom did that with which one's the Braveheart?
Which
Still
one's
to
the
this day,
Braveheart?
like that's the one I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Mom? Really? Which one's the
They're all
Braveheart?
brave in their hearts.
Although I had the same thing years earlier with my best friend's little sister. We're sitting there watching Aerosmith video, and she's like, "Which one is Aerosmith?" And it was like, that's, oh fuck. I mean, she was like 12, so it can be excused that like she just didn't know that. Jesus. No, the name of the band is the name of the whole group of individuals, and not actually. But yeah,
sure.
Wow,
fucking kids.
All right, well,
stupid kids.
I guess we have something else to move on. I want to move on to this. It's a new thing. Zack Snyder posted a picture on his Twitter with Jason Momoa. They're in pre-production for Justice League now. It looks like there's costumes in the background.
Saw the picture.
The costumes in the background. There's the Flash costume right there in the background, really shiny. That's our first look at actual Flash
costume.
It's
Yeah,
right
it's got the lightning bolts on the ears.
It's shiny. It's sort of
it's got like a little lightning belt thing coming across the middle. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Looked okay. Looked pretty
good.
And
then you have the Aquaman, which you'd actually, because before we saw him shirtless, there's actually some chest armor we can see. There's also a black costume.
Yeah.
People are really going crazy, like trying to speculate what it is. What I think it's an Atlantean piece of armor, because we also see a head, like one of those head helmets.
Yeah, I assume the rest of them are all just like little bits of armor for random people in the movie.
Well, there's more. There's possible. But there's a few things. Well, we also saw an image of Mara. So some artwork that Mara was in.
Was the lunch pail there?
There's no lunch pail, but Mara's there.
Was she holding the sandwiches? Like,
no.
Okay.
I think this might be... Maybe they're doing Throne of Atlantis. So the new 52 Aquaman Justice League story. Well, here's the thing. Jeff Johns is huge on this thing. And I think there's a lot of influence of what Jeff Johns stuff in what they're doing, because he's now one of the head people working on this.
Yeah.
So he's in the big committee running this shit. So I think if Jeff Johns likes his stories, he's going to put his own stories as probably the forefront. So it makes sense. We saw a helmet that looks Atlantean. We saw another costume that looked like a female costume that was sort of being built because it looked like it had boobs. And it looked Atlantean.
A side boob, yeah.
Yeah, it looked Atlantean. I think the black one might be Atlantean. It could be Black Manta. It could be Ocean Master as well. Some people are thinking...
They need better bad guy names. Black Manta's not bad, but...
Some people are thinking...
Ocean Master, that's...
Well, they're old. They're old names,
yeah.
So it's like, what do you...
No, I mean, the Flash has the worst. I mean, Rainbow Warrior is one of them. Or Rainbow Raider.
Rainbow Raider.
Yeah, well, Weather Wizard.
That's because they never came up with better ones for some reason. A lot of the other ones usually come up with something else at some point.
Eventually.
Whereas Flash didn't really do it as much. But I also... some people are saying Nightwing costume for that black one because it's sort of a gray thing, and so if you just paint it blue or something, it's Nightwing. I don't think it is. I think my guess would be Atlantean. I also, so much of Batman vs Superman does look similar to the death of Superman, and he does have a black costume when he comes back. I thought about that. They
did that black costume for the Nick Cage one. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Just if this is sort of a Death of Superman story, maybe he comes back in Justice League or something in a black suit, something like that.
Huh.
That's just a guess because I saw that, and that's one of the few things.
I also noticed that. I also noticed people losing their goddamn minds over the Flash costume.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. Although I also saw, so like I'm reading the comments and I see like first guy, oh my god, it's a Flash costume. Second guy, yeah, it's a Flash costume. It's okay, it's all right. Next guy, way better than the TV show. Those costumes are shit. Next guy, whatever, guys, just a costume. it was like that was the range of all the people.
It's so fucking blurry. How could you tell that it's better than the TV show?
Because it's shiny.
It looks pretty slick, I gotta say. I
didn't realize this, but apparently a lot of people hate the costume on the TV show.
I'm not a huge fan.
I have no doubt about that.
I mean, I grew into it because I'm sort of fine with it. That's sort of where I didn't care for it at
Heroes'
first.
costumes change so often that...
I will say
the Flash looks weird.
The Flash costume from the 1990 version of the show did look quite a bit cooler.
The what looks weird?
The crotch.
In the Flash TV show. Only because...
I'm not looking at the fastest stick alive all that well.
No,
and I'm surprised as hell about that.
I should start. I'm just saying.
It's only at certain points when he's like he's slowed down, but he moves sort of... There's a lot of space, obviously, there. So, like, because they...
To accommodate that huge dick!
No, they obviously... They made the costume and they just left... This costume isn't skin tight. They've left just a lot of space on the thing, so it's a bit loose. So you can see when he moves and stuff, there's a lot of wrinkle movement going on where it's just like, there's like a huge wrinkle stretching around, and it's loose and weird. And it's like, you can't run well in that. You're gonna...
He's pretty... How old is, what's his name?
Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
20-something?
Like 20-something, 25.
Probably my age, something around that. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he was on Glee, so he's got to be 30. Yeah.
That's the cutoff for...
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to play a high school kid on Glee? What are you, 43? All right.
Very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I thought it looked cool. There's cool stuff. And Jason Momoa is huge, because Zack Snyder's not small.
No, yeah, Jason Momoa.
And Jason Momoa is ducking down.
He's
Yeah.
like, he's Khal Drogo. He's Conan the Barbarian. He's a
Massive.
big, bad motherfucker.
Did you ever see Conan, by the way?
I did.
I just saw the poster to it again today, and I thought to myself, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
The movie is decent. He is good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So, yeah. It's, I mean, similar to like some of The Rock's first couple movies, where it was like, movie was, but Rock was not bad. Like, Scorpion King. Scorpion King
was
sucks,
first, wasn't it?
but The Rock is good. And then you have The Rundown, where the movie and The Rock are both quite good.
Yeah, I was just saying, because
yeah.
I like The Rundown.
I still haven't seen them, and I haven't seen a movie I've liked Rock in yet. So
Wow.
I've seen him in San Andreas.
Yeah, that's not something to see.
What else have I seen? Fast and Furious 6, I think.
He's okay in those.
He's barely in it, and
he's holding up the
They're all
scenes that
crap
don't
in
have Vin
that.
Diesel in them.
They're all not
So-
good. Like, it's not meant to be good.
No,
like,
it's not.
they're
It's
directed-
meant to be action-y schlock. It's action porn. So
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
the
not.
direction looks terrible. I'm guessing in terms of acting wise. They're not.
No,
directing
they're not.
well.
They're not even trying to do that.
So
They're
I
talking
don't,
props.
You
I
know
just
what?
don't.
What
have-
honestly got me on board The Rock was Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
Because I didn't watch any of The Rock stuff.
his
and
first
then
two
he
times
was on-
hosting are wonderful.
I saw his last one. I didn't
Yeah,
see
last
it.
one was just okay.
No, but everyone else, you were raving about the last.
He's
time.
good. He's always a good host.
And I was
but
just
he's
like,
not
I
as
don't-
good as his first couple.
And people were saying, "Oh, The Rock. Oh, that was the best episode of the season." I'm like, really? I didn't. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it wasn't anything special. I mean, he was there, and they're raving about how well he did, and I was just surprised.
I think part of that is that lately, if you've been watching SNL, a lot of hosts suck,
Oh, God.
and then a lot of the shows suck, even if the host is good.
I just don't
So
know.
it's-
I also think there's just this weird. I'm not in this Rock love fest, and I see it everywhere that everyone just whatever he does is amazing, and I'm just like,
He
I don't
hosted
know
a
what's
reality
happening.
show too a while back that I
heard.
fucking
Yeah,
loved.
I remember you talking about that, and I
Yeah.
know other people who've mentioned how great he is and stuff. And every time he apparently posts on Twitter or Instagram,
funny
people
as shit.
freak out, and I'm just like, what?
Dude's funny. I mean, the shit that he posts online
He
is
could
funny.
post a picture of a shoe and
It's-
say nothing, and people would be like, "Oh, the
Well,
Rock."
no, it's not just that he actually
was in
posts
General
videos of
Holograms.
himself.
Was he?
Yeah.
He posts videos of himself like doing funny shit.
No.
Yes, he was.
That's
No, he
terrible.
wasn't. Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, I kind of need to just go see Gem and the Holograms now.
It bombed. That thing looked so bad.
Yeah, it did. The other
Like-
guys? He was in the other guys.
The other guys, he was funny in that. Him and
That's not
Samuel
part
L.
of it.
Jackson.
Yeah.
That was funny. No, he's in this new movie, Central Intelligence,
Oh, that does
which
not look
looks
good.
very, very bad. And I feel bad because I like both those guys. I like Kevin Hart and I like The Rock. But honestly, the media they're doing building up to it is funnier than the movie looks. So like, I'm on Facebook the other day. I'm scrolling around, and him and Kevin Hart are both making like videos on their phones, talking to their fans, and they're like doing them at the same time. And so like the first like 5 lines they're saying are exactly the same, and then they look and see the other one is like, "Get out of my video," and he's like, "Get out of my," and they like start having like little fights to like get each other. It's just little cute,
Probably
fun
is.
things like that.
I think he needs to slow down on how many movies he keeps making. Because like he's got San Andreas 2 now coming up. He has
Rampage.
Baywatch. He has
Baywatch.
Rampage. He's
Any
gonna do
Fast and Furious
Furious
movie,
still.
yep.
He's got Shazam apparently coming up. Why does he keep doing all these things so much, like constantly?
He likes
He
working.
loves work. He
I
loves
know that, but I
acting.
mean, I also feel like that's taking away from because he's just going from one thing to another. He's not putting all his.
And
heart
here's the
into
thing:
something.
if he's not
He was
acting,
in that 70s show.
if he's he did a bit as a wrestler. He played his dad.
And Star Trek Voyager.
Star Trek Voyager. I saw that when he played a. They had an episode where they went to a planet that had like death matches.
All wrestlers.
They had death matches, and 7 of 9 gets entered into the death match, and he basically plays himself with like a little Klingon ridge thing,
Sure.
and it was bad. Like he did his moves Like, it was, like, out of nowhere for no reason at all, this alien death fighter, they're, like, fighting, and then he goes, what? And he, like, catches him for a rock bottom, and you're like, no, come on, man, don't do this. And he looks out at the crowd and does the little thing where he, like, breathes in and, like soaks in their love or whatever.
And you're smelling what the rock is cooking.
He's smelling the rock is cooking, and then he does the rock bottom. That, yeah.
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 Shall we end this part? Or
He's doing Journey to the Center of the Earth 4 and Journey 3 from Earth to the Moon, which Journey to the Center of the Earth 4 is labeled before. It's in before.
He's filming that before 3.
Maybe. I don't know. Baywatch.
Man gets shit done.
You're not going to watch Baywatch?
I'm going to watch Baywatch.
You're going to watch Rampage.
Baywatch,
I'm gonna watch all of these.
I guarantee you Baywatch is going to be a funny movie.
I hope so.
You heard it here first. Baywatch, the best movie of 2016.
I'm not going to say it's the best movie. It's going to be a funny movie.
2017.
It's going to be right up there with Starsky and Hutch, 21 Jump Street, all these movies.
You're lucky it's not 2018 because you would have to go head to head with Trevor.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
For Sonic the Hedgehog.
I feel confident. I feel confident the Baywatch movie will be better than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Best movie of 2017.
I'm gonna have to look up what
you heard it here first.
I'm gonna have to look up what comic books movies coming out in 2018. The Flash.
Doesn't matter. You've already stated that it's.
Yeah, I already did. All right. So anyway, let's move on. Let's end this part.
Cool.
So we're going to continue. There's going to be more. We're gonna have other parts we're gonna release throughout the week. So check those out for other news things. And whatever, if you want more new stuff that we didn't talk about, it's gonna come out. You're gonna hear it because we're gonna talk about it.
It's bound to come out.
Like Dan Didio saying that he's gonna write the most controversial comic book article.
No, don't talk about it yet.
Oh, I'm teasing it. Stick around, come watch, come listen.
Stuff, DC Rebirth stuff. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we haven't even breached Rebirth.
Yeah. All right.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everyone. Check out Geek Wars podcasts here. Wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're listening
to this.
Check
out the podcast you're listening to.
And subscribe, comment if you want, like.
Say things. We'll talk back to you.
We'll talk back. You can email us, geekwarspodcast@gmail.com.
We'll read your comments on the air.
Also, tweet us at Geek Wars Podcast.
On the podcast.
Yeah, I guess it's on the air. That works. We'll read it into the air.
We'll go outside and scream it into the air.
We'll climb the highest mountain and scream it at the top of our lungs.
We will climb the highest stair available, which is probably about 2 or 3.
You can check out our YouTube channel, Geek Wars, where we do reaction videos. We also, we put the podcast will be going up there with videos of Trevor, that's me, doing gameplay of whatever games I'm recording myself playing terribly at. And there'll be background visuals for these podcasts. You can also see reaction videos. I think I mentioned that actually. You can also check out. I do reviews for quick Daclus quality reviews. Do quick reviews for movies right after I see them while sitting in my car. They're terrible, but they're awesome. Check them out. You can also follow me on Twitter at Daclus, DACLUS. And I think that is all because these two do not have the social media.
Fuck that Twitter.
Be followed on.
Ben has abandoned the Twitter for good.
I have abandoned the Twitter, as the Twitter has abandoned me.
But until next time,
you can follow me on Snapchat by just taking a picture of something and thinking of me.
Aw.
Is that how Snapchat works?
I hope that
I'm not clear on Snapchat.
I don't know how Snapchat works.
Other than dick pics, I don't know what it does.
I presume it's telepathy based. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.